Hey guys, welcome back. This is your host Phil from underKG.com, and today we're going to take a close look on the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus. Let's start with the design. It's got a clean, relatively futuristic design, but we have all seen that from the last year's model, and to be honest, it doesn't look as nice as it did last year. There are a few touches here and there, but the biggest ones you'll find are on the back. There are dual cameras along with the fingerprint reader that has been moved to the bottom of the camera instead of the left-hand side of the camera, or when you look at it, the right side of the camera. There's Samsung logo, everything is covered in glass, and this thing is actually heavier than the predecessor at 189 grams or 6.67 ounces. And as always, this is IP68 water and dust resistant. You can unlock your phone through the fingerprint reader, or if you prefer, use the intelligent scan that switches between the front-facing camera-powered face recognition or the iris scanner. But I found the fingerprint reader to be most convenient though. What you see on the first glance is the display. It's a pretty nice panel if you calibrate it right yourself. My unit had way too much grain, so I had to kill it all. It is disappointing that you have to do it by yourself on a phone that almost costs $1,000. But aside from that, viewing angle, color reproduction, and sunlight legibility, everything that you expect from a premium smartphone is in that display panel. Depending on the reason, the phone is powered by either Snapdragon 845 or Exynos 9810, and either version are very fast. Whatever app that you launch, after killing all the app, launching up the phone dialer, launching up the camera, taking a photo, and switching between the apps, they are all really fast. And that quality extension software is as well. It runs Samsung Experience 9.0 over Android 8.0 Oreo, and it provides with one of the best user experiences I have tried. The always-on display now has more layouts and GIF support. The fingerprint reader gestures now work in 2 levels, just like Google devices. There is a dual messenger feature that duplicates the apps that natively do not support multiple accounts. Touch sensitivity options, just in case your tempered glass doesn't register your touches. Bixby Vision's real-time translation is in. Although I'm not so sure about Bixby itself, it doesn't really get me when I talk to it, and in the rare events that I actually want to use it, not that I mistakenly pressed it, it asks me to update the app way too often. Aside from that, your favorite features including Samsung Pay, Samsung Pass, Samsung Cloud are all in, and the sensor right there now also measures blood pressure. However, the best part according to Samsung was the cameras that you can launch through the app or by quickly pressing the power key twice. The most notable feature about the camera is the dual aperture. You can switch between the f1.5 and f2.4. Basically, with the wider aperture f1.5, you get to have more light. Instead, your background details are somewhat lost. At f2.4, you get to have less light, so better detail at increased risk of shaky photos. Now, the dual aperture fixes that problem by switching depending on the lighting situation, and they work great. Overall results are very good. This is one of the no-brainer photography machines. You just tap on the shutter key and the photos turn out great. Whether that be low lighting condition, outside, indoors, or somewhat in the middle, the photos turn out just great. And thanks to the extra lens, you can have 2x optical zoom. And they're all good and all until you try the live focus. Now, this is one of the simulated bokeh effects. The biggest problem sometimes is that it simply refuses to work. It says live focus not applied due to shooting conditions, and it doesn't bother to tell me what is wrong with that shooting condition. This was the problem with the Galaxy Note 8, and they didn't fix it. And even if it did work, unless you're in an extremely well-lit condition, the quality is going to disappoint you. The front-facing camera has a similar feature called the selfie focus, and that works way better. And of course, there's a super slow-mo, which is really tricky to capture. There is auto mode to help you out that almost always hits the shutter a second late, and the manual mode is almost impossible to capture. And of course, there's the AR emoji that looks hideous and works horribly. However, the audio department is very nice. It's got a speaker on the bottom and utilizes the top receiver as a stereo speaker, and they sound really good, especially when you turn on the Dolby Atmos sound effect. Just don't put it up on the maximum volume. They tend to squeak a little. Thankfully, there still is a 3.5mm headphone jack, and the wire audio sounds good as well. There's system-wide equalizer along with a lot of different sound effects. And it runs Android Oreo, which means it's got high-quality wireless codec LDAC support. Now, all of this sounds really good, so here we go with the disappointing part. It's got 3500 mAh of battery built in, and it doesn't last long. For some reason, it only gave me 5.5 hours of screen on time, and that is almost an hour shorter than what I had with the Galaxy S8 Plus. Weirdly enough, the phone turned itself off at 3% of battery, which I've never seen before. Although I was happy enough with the fast charging that tops up the battery at hour and 40 minutes. But don't expect anything like that with that fast wireless charging. That fast wireless charging takes 3 full hours. And now that I told you this much, here we go with the verdict on the Galaxy S9 Plus. It's not a bad phone, it's a good phone relatively. But they had the entire year to make the Galaxy S8 Plus better, and I really don't see much improvements here. Yes, there's a dual cameras, but we've seen that from the Galaxy Note 8. There's a faster processor, but the Galaxy S8 Plus was already fast. Live focus is still bad, battery life is worse, the device got heavier and is more expensive. At this point, the Galaxy S9 Plus doesn't look any better. If you're touting a Galaxy S8 Plus, I really don't think there's any reason to upgrade. Anything before that, maybe, but I still want to ask you to wait a bit more. So that was my take on the Galaxy S9 Plus. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. You can always meet us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. We'll see you guys later. Ciao.